the Packers dropped to 3-5 yesterday. Just they kind of like sat up like the Undertaker at the end of the game, and
Fuck out.
I don't know. They tried to make it a game late, but really it wasn't. They just got smoked by the Buffalo Bills. They're now off to their worst start in the history of Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback here. They've never been 3-5 or worse after 8 games. And so with that, we turn it over to the fan in Green Bay to hilariously listen to drunk Packer fans complain about their favorite team. It is Packer Vent Line on Mackey and Judd.
I'll tell you, that game, what a bunch of babies to watch, pushing each other after every play, and you got Quay pushes somebody over there, and then during the game they're pushing them and wanting penalties. Going down there, doing the highlights. You got Jones wiping his jersey off on a first down carry, but of course when they had 4th and 1, he got crushed. I know everybody's in the backfield, but I mean, what a bunch of babies to watch that game.
A bunch of babies.
What was
like
that?
Randy. It sounds like Randy.
What was going on?
I wonder if it is Randy.
Is it Randy? Does Randy have a cousin that's a Packers fan?
His name? Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, that guy was slightly overserved. All right, let's hear from some more sad drunk Packer fans.
The Packers really screwed up on not finding a receiver. You threw some darts, you missed. It's really shameful that you guys didn't go out and really get something good for Aaron. Whatever with that. Tonight it was quite embarrassing, quite frankly, and that's just me being a diehard Viking fan.
Oh wow, diehard Vikings fan guy,
hijack it,
infiltrating.
That's getting to be a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could participate in that. It's actually a good idea.
Well, we're usually doing our own. I guess last night we could have done that.
We could have.
Yeah, we should do that more often.
I got a little ripped in the comments during Ventline yesterday for putting a Cardinals fan on Ventline yesterday, but he was more of a mixed man. He was a Cardinals fan.
Fan
but
of
he also liked the Vikings. And a good perspective to have.
Actually, what we should do is we should get a few folks from our Purple Daily family to infiltrate. And then we'll pull the calls and play them.
What's that station again? It's the fan in
WDUZ.
WDUZ in Green Bay.
The fan in Green Bay. I think it's 107.5.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, let's put the call out right now to Mackey and Judd listeners, viewers, Purple Daily listeners, viewers. I don't know what their phone number is, but you can probably find it on their website for their call-in show.
Yep.
Next time the Packers lose, infiltrate that show.
Yep.
Start your take with something Packers related, but so that you're kind of hooking them in.
Yep.
But then turn it into something pro Vikings or anti Packers and end it with Skull Vikings.
Yep.
I love Purple Daily.
Or you start, it was Rodgers' problem today, and then conclude with, and I only got one thing left to say. Skull Vikings, we're gonna Purple Daily, hang on.
Yes, I would love to hear this. And then we will play the clips on our show.
100% credit you completely.
And recycle it for content purposes. These Packer fans, I think what's the funniest, we'll play more clips here, though. They just don't know how to cope with this. Starting 3-5 and having a bad offense is not something that they are equipped to deal with mentally. They haven't been through this before. So I struggle between just laughing at them hilariously and also feeling a little empathy, like, poor Packer fan, you've had Hall of Fame quarterbacks for 30 years. I agree with that last caller, and I was thinking, this guy's pretty level-headed. Of course, he's a Vikings fan. Why are they not in the conversation for Odell Beckham Jr.? It's not even like a conversation that he would go play for the Packers. Why would you not bring Odell Beckham Jr. in to play with Aaron Rodgers?
They were initially, and I think what got out is, as far as I can tell, the Packers aren't on his list. Because why would you want to go play there now? They're 3-5. Well, but even he wants to join a champion.
A month ago, couldn't they have signed him? Got out in front of it when they were, still above 500. But they're just never in the mix for a guy like that. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I don't know why that. Yeah, that goes back to Ted Thompson. It was the whole, I think part of the issue with Ted and Favre goes back to around the time that Moss was traded to the Patriots from the Raiders. Favre was politicking hard at some point around then to get Moss, because at that point it would have made perfect sense. And Ted's like, no, we don't pay guys like that. I don't understand the Packers beyond developing their own receivers, their reluctance. And what's really weird about the Packers is this. In 92, so they trade for Brett. But, their biggest move, their splash that changed the franchise more than Brett immediately was Reggie White, signed by Ron Wolf as a free agent.
And
because God told Reg to go to Green Bay.
It brought them a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
They're
not
idiots.
it's not like they built their dynasty on the shoulders of only drafting and development. Reggie White was really the difference maker. Guys came to Green Bay then because of Reggie White.
Yeah. The other funny thing about Packer fans too is they love to go look across the border at Vikings fans and say, well, you had to do it with our quarterback, Brett Favre. Or I'm sure now it's like, well, yeah, you're doing it on defense with our guy, Zadarius Smith. Well, you're the idiots that cut bait on those players when they weren't cooked yet.
Yep.
And so the Vikings said, oh, Brett Favre's available. Oh, that's awesome. We'll just pick him up and go win 12 games, beat you twice. And then, of course, we all know how this usually ends. But, I mean, Zadarius Smith, yeah, he's going to do it with another Packer player. Yeah, well, he's still in his prime and clearly healthy again. So you're the idiots that made him just available for any team to sign. So he wanted to stay there. Obviously, his feelings are hurt.
If you think about this right now, you've got 2, if not 3. I don't know Hicks counts full time here, but Patrick Peterson and Zadarius Smith are on revenge tours, flat out.
Yeah.
Like anyone who dismisses the human element of what drives a guy, don't. Those 2 guys are bound and determined to show their ex teams. And I mean, I think when the Baltimore thing, I don't know why it fell through. Zadarius Smith signed here for the exact same reason Brett did, which is I want to stick it to the Packers.
Let's hear from some more drunk, sad Packer fans.
Go, Pack, go! You watch NFL pregame shows, and it's amazing how you lose a couple of games, rookie, in a row. A couple, 3. And you go from media darlings to media outcasts. It's our society. It's like, the expression, what have you done for me lately? And it's a immediate gratification society.
This
What?
Oh, man, this is hilarious. So this guy says, you lose 25% of your schedule, all the games in a row, that you should still be ranked among the best teams in the NFL. That's his logic. Because of society. Society is falling and crumbling, and that's why Randy Moss rips my team on Sunday, NFL Countdown.
That sounds like a guy who's trying to torture his angst into it's going to be fine.
It's society. It's they're fine. It's the kids. It's the kids. It's the millennials. Those Gen Zers the Packers should be ranked higher. No, it's not society. It's the receivers that can't catch passes. It's your weird quarterback that goes on these like self-discovery tours instead of practicing with his teammates throughout the offseason.
Cleanses. He likes the cleanse.
Cleanses.
And that's fine. Do cleanses, do all that stuff. But like, I love now how he's distancing himself at these press conferences from the team and the coaching. It's like, I'm over here and I'm amazing. All these other things are incompetent. I am Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't want to be associated with potential failure, even though he is in the middle of it. But yeah.
Go, Pack, go!
This was a close game, and without the referees, Mason Crosby is lining up to tie the game at the end instead of get it 3 plays closer, because that call against
Bobby Tunyon, yeah, that was weak.
Was absolute BS. Absolute BS.
I would agree. That was not good.
Yeah, the refs continue to hose the Pack.
It was a pretty close game, too, with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's 24-7. Pretty close.
Hey.
You're within at least 3 scores there. Anything can happen.
Good teams win, great teams cover. Bills didn't cover.
That's true. It was 11, right? 11 and a half?
Yeah, 11 and a half, and it's only 10.
Little backdoor cover for the Pack there. Late
cheap
touchdown.
points, though. Yeah, that was a cheap points.
Oh man, do we have any more, or does that conclude Packer?
We got this quick little one.
All right, let's go.
Our great number 1 draft pick, Christian Watson. Number 1, China Doll. Number 2, total bust.
That's hilarious.
How did the Packers with that pick not take the Pickens kid who went to Pittsburgh?
I don't know.
It's
so hard to say that on draft night, though, right? Who knows?
It's George Pickens. Yeah, there's a reason why you scout games, though. Like, what do you see in a kid that's playing at a small college and pass up a guy? Yes, for us, it's very hard. But if you're Brian Gutekunst and you have a team of scouts, and by the way, to your point, you don't basically sign free agent players or receivers, you better hit on your draft picks for receivers.
Also, do you think Aaron Rodgers, honestly, at this point in his career, do you think he is spending extra time with young receivers after practice, during practice, texting after everyone's gone home for the night? Like, do you think he is pouring any energy whatsoever into making those guys better?
Doesn't feel like it.
Because that makes a difference, right? If you get drafted by the Chiefs or something, or the whoever,
right?
Someone is there usually invested, and he just seems like he's only invested if they're doing well right now. But if they're not going to do well, it's kind of like, I'm not really part of. I wasn't the one that made the decision to, put together these young receivers.
I wonder in 15 years if that weirdo is going to wake up and come out of his haze and say, with all my talent, I won 1 Super Bowl and I turned into a freak at the end.
No, I don't think he has any level of self-awareness. I mean, the guy has completely stopped talking to his family. The guy has severed relationships with. I mean, I don't know. He's
dating a witch, right?
That is correct.
Which is very apropos.
She is not a witch
for Halloween.
She's not a witch. But
I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just saying I thought she was like a witch.
Till you get a spell on you, you don't know what that's
creatively. Like. He is like someone. This is worth talking about. He is like someone who had a spell cast on him. Mm-hmm. You think you're a rock star. I mean, he handles himself like a rock star way more than an athlete.
I think he needs therapy more than anything else. I think therapy would go a longer way than some of the other stuff that he has been partaking in. How about another round of statements here on this Monday? Joe, we'll start with you.
Okay. Kevin O'Connell is the Vikings' most creative play caller since Dennis Green, as far as coaches go.
All right.
Okay. Kevin O'Connell is the most creative play caller. If you go back, Ticey, no chance. Some of that's Mike's fault, but Mike also was told your OC is also going to have to coach your offensive line. Red did everything on the cheap. It's hard to be creative when your coaching staff is spread as thin as Mike's was. Brad Childress, other than when Favre improvised plays, I think we can safely say that while the KOA had its moments, the kick-ass offense wasn't super creative much of the time. Zimmer didn't care much about the actual offensive rhythms and structures, and so he certainly didn't have a role in what you would consider to be a creative offense. And plus, the guy loved to run the football just to run the football. Kevin O'Connell, if you look at what he does on a game-by-game basis, deep red zone, he's unbelievable. This guy cooks up different looks, and what I love is this. He cooks up different looks with the play calling stew on a weekly basis, which puts things on film. To your point, Phil, the Rager play yesterday, he runs on that low red zone play, which resulted in the Cook touchdown. He basically, it looks like they're going to go back to the play that they ran a couple weeks ago in a home game, which was a flip to Rager. They don't, but the Cardinals have to assume that they might, And so it results in a different form of touchdown.
Yeah, the illusion of complexity.
The illusion of
looks
complexity, though.
complicated, but it's really not, yeah.
This is what we're talking about. When we talk about you want to put things on film so teams digest it and say we have to guard against that, and then you don't run that play, you run a play that looks like it. Kevin O'Connell has done a lot of good things when it comes to creative play calls, and I think we've been begging for that in this town for a long time.
Yeah, and in the red zone, too. I mean, think about just how often they've used that jet sweep motion. They've scored touchdowns on it by giving the ball to the jet sweeper.
Yep.
They have faked the handoff to the jet sweeper and then given the ball to Dalvin, like we saw yesterday for a touchdown. But then there's also the fake to the jet sweeper, or just let the jet sweeper run by, which is enough of a fake because you got to account for him. Fake the handoff and throw a pass. So that same action, and you can swap in Justin Jefferson for Jalen Reagor, Adam Thielen for Justin Jefferson. You can swap in Alex Madison for Dalvin Cook. You can throw a pass out of that set to a tight end or to a running back. You can throw a pass to the jet sweeper, which they've scored a touchdown on. Oh. I feel like they've scored like 6 different types of touchdowns.
Yes.
Get the flag.
Exactly. Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, get the flag.
Kevin O'Connell. Good job, young man. Good job, kiddo. That's why Declan's girlfriend loves him, because of his play calling.
Yeah, that's why. It's not his jawline that she's oogling over every time he comes on the screen or anything else. Yeah.
He's a good-looking man, as I said
Then there's
before.
Declan. Doing okay.
Yeah, you don't really have the jawline going for you.
I do not. No, I don't have
no. He's got the jawline strong.
No, it's
tall drink of water too.
Strong personality that gets Declan.
You got good hair
today, and the hair.
You got good hair.
Thank you.
You got attributes.
My next statement. I'll say this: Chef Dalvin is cooking up something special here. So after a slow start to the season, over the last 3 games, Dalvin Cook, 282 rushing yards, averaging 5.5 yards per attempt. He has found the end zone 4 times. You know, we started to question, is he slowing down a little bit? Is this the running back wall that he's going to hit after touching the ball a ton over the last 3 to 4 years? But over the last 3 games, he's getting the ball a ton. He's hitting big chunk plays. He's finding the end zone. He's been a productive running back. Chef Dalvin Cook, we were sleeping on him a little bit, and I think also mixing in that workload too. To your guys' point about Alexander Madison coming in, he averages 5 yards per carry plus yesterday. Just getting Dalvin Cook some rest here and there while getting the most out of him as well, I think is the most important part. And over the last 3 games, Dalvin Cook has been cooking up something special.
Yeah, he's not washed up. He's not washed up. I don't know that he's the same guy that he was 3 or 4 years ago, but and part of it might just be the fact that he's had a greater workload the last couple weeks, but in general, his workload he's only averaging like 16 carries a game this year. So, and they are purposefully, they go into the game saying, okay, Alex Madison's going to get like these 2 or 3 series for sure. If there's a big run, come out the field. They're not running him out there to the point of exhaustion or anything. I think they have a plan for keeping him as fresh as possible. He had the shoulder sling back on, which is good. Keep that thing on.
Yeah, always wear it.
Whenever he takes it off, he always has some sort of shooting pain that takes him out of the game for a while, or a fumble.
And a fumble, right? It's always a fumble. He drops the ball.
Yep. Okay, my next statement is the Vikings have finally fixed almost their entire offensive line, with the exception of one glaring weakness: Ed Ingram. I'm not ready to write Ed Ingram off forever. He's a rookie. I think he still has a lot of potential. But when you watch that game, and there were some other guys getting beat too, but it was like every other play he was getting beat, or I think he might have taken a penalty in there somewhere. A couple third downs where Kirk just didn't have a chance because J.J. Watt's just in his face. So they've got the tackles fixed. They've got a left guard for the next few years, it looks like. Bradbury isn't perfect, but he's probably playing the best football of his Vikings career to this point.
Yep. And
there's just kind of one big weak link that I don't know how long you can continue to run him out there. I think at some point if you got the one weak link, it kind of brings the whole offensive line down. So I'm taking a look at that here in the next couple
Schlottman
weeks.
Time? Is that what you're telling us?
It might be Schlottman time. That's right.
It's time for a little Schlottman.
It might be time. Yep. It might be time, too, for some non-offensive linemen to lose some weight out there. Like, you met a listener this morning.
Yes.
That's down a bunch of weight.
So Brent from your neck of the woods, Phil, in Spokane. Huge fan of the purple. He has been since he saw Rashad catch the Hail Mary as a 9-year-old on TV. Wow. His family didn't care a bit about the Vikings, but he said, I am going to be a Vikings fan. And much like Judd, guess what? Over the years, he gained some weight, put some weight on, and it gets difficult because then you're like, when am I going to start to lose weight? Well, he saw our spots for our friends at Livia Weight Control Centers and said, you know what? If Judd Zolgad can drop weight, I can too. And Brent told me today in town for the game against the Cardinals that he has dropped 60 pounds.
Wow.
60 pounds. Ongoing process. He's losing more.
Hell yeah.
Incredibly impressive. He loves our show. Shout out. And look, if you're saying now, hold on a second, Judd. Well, if Brent lost 60 pounds and you lost 40, then I can too. And you're exactly right about that. And here's the best part. You'll receive 8 weeks for free. The Flex program, which has been instituted now, lets you enjoy the foods you love, fruit, pasta, and even bread. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia, LIVEA.com. Be like Brent. And guess what? He told me, I'm fitting into a ton of clothes. My jerseys fit great. That's because of the help that he got. Livia.com is where he started, and so should you.
Yes. All right, boys. Any other statements from you guys, either from Vikings, the NFL, your lives, anything else you want to throw out there here on this Statements Monday?
I think so. I had a pretty tame weekend. I was telling Phil, actually, I shouldn't have said I have a tame weekend. Hit it a little hard on Friday night at my sister's. But my observation was over the weekend, we were talking off mic, as an adult, post-college, I have no interest in Halloween. And I know you two dudes are wearing Halloween costumes. I'm not crapping on that you guys are wearing your costumes right now.
Oh, yeah. But be crapping on Halloween. No feasties around here.
As I enter now my 30s here in like 6 weeks, which even just kind of scares me a little bit.
You're getting old.
You're entering the greatest decade. The
greatest decade. I've heard that too.
The 50s is great because you don't care. You lose all caring.
Well, 30s, you start to lose caring.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. I've been there, remember?
I don't know what it's like to be in my 50s yet, but take your word for it.
Yeah, it's great. You
just wear elastic bottom sweatpants everywhere.
How'd you know?
But as I've gotten older, I just have no interest in doing like an adult Halloween party. Like just dressing up and going and like getting boozed up. And don't get me wrong, I love me my drinks. I love having a good time. I love hanging out with friends. But like coordinating the costumes, doing all this noise, it's too much for me.
I was telling Dex off Mike Judd. Yeah. We had a kind of an epiphany on, I believe it was Saturday night. So we hopped on some scooters and we rode around the fall weather and we did a little bar hopping, day drinking. Nothing too irresponsible, but there's a new Mexican restaurant down the street that we had to try out.
I'm not passing judgment.
There's a place called Tapster, which is you basically you get a card, you put and then you can just go to like any of 50 different taps and just serve yourself and it's whatever.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Let's just say that after sampling, and I wasn't doing like full pints, I just wanted to sample like a third of a glass, and after like 6 of them, my card flashed on the screen and said, you're not cut off yet, but please check back in with the server to make sure. They thought I was like, I had like 6 pints.
This has happened to me.
I was sampling, okay? Mm-hmm. I was sampling. Yeah, just trying to sample.
That sends an alert to a detox place as well, then, which comes in, supposed to come and get you and take you away for a month.
But the point, my roundabout
Phil is
point
not
here
on.
My roundabout point here is, A, I guess day drinking is fun, but B, the thing that we look forward to the most is coming home at 4:00. We had a Domino's pizza, like a free coupon for a Domino's pizza down the street.
Yep.
And we wanted to watch the Matthew Perry, Chandler from Friends, the Matthew Perry, Diane Sawyer interview on demand on Hulu. And then go to bed at like 8:30. Like we were so excited to just be old on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's the freedom that you will start to experience in your 30s is you don't feel the obligation to have to go out. You're going to like you made a comment that you guys were in bed by 11. I heard that, and I'm like, my God, I can't remember like the last 5 times I've stayed up until 11 not watching a sporting event of some kind. So you will slowly start to go to bed earlier, is my guess. The 30, you should look to embrace your 30s, is what the life lesson is here.
Yeah, you'll probably, I found that age is a great age your 40s, you're prone to hit some type of midlife crisis, which is why your 50s is great, because then you just don't care anymore. And then
what is the midlife crisis sort of like? Oh my God, I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, you want to be younger again, and you try and do dumb things because you're like, I want to be younger. But it's sort of subconscious as well, so it's not like you're waking up each day. It's just sort of built in.
Sure.
But then when you get past that, it's just all great. And again, you reach 50, you don't know anymore. It's all a wild card. Every day's a bonus.
Yeah.
Which is why I got my...
Now that you've taken some life advice from one guy dressed up as the Macho Man Randy Savage and another guy dressed up as Jared Allen with a Twins bucket hat.
With a Twins bucket hat.
Hopefully you take this to heart, Declan.
Sun's not getting me, though.
Listeners and viewers.
I will. This is good.
Declan,
This is all good stuff.
Declan's like,
Declan's not in it. Yeah. You're not listening. You're going to regret not listening. When you're 42 and you reach a midlife crisis, you're going to regret that you didn't listen to.
And don't sleep on Diane Sawyer interviews, okay? She's still a master at her craft.
I watched a big part of that.
Craft.
Yeah,
I watched a big part of it. It was really good.
He said he was doing 55 Vicodin a day.
Oh yeah, huge drug problem.
She goes, how did you even get 55 Vicodin a day? He would go. Well, he would have all these doctors that he would tap into. I don't know how that works. Like, hey, I've got a migraine for the 19th time this month. Give me more Vicodin. But he said he would go to open houses and go through the medicine cabinets of open houses to steal their Vicodin.
Oh yeah, that's a nasty addiction.
Yeah, dude.
The weird thing about those drugs is when I got my appendix out, that's what you get. The strong stuff. The pain relief or the high is so short, I can't imagine being addicted. Like it's not like okay, I just took a Vicodin and now it's 3 hours of bliss. It's like there's an end time and then you start to come down.
Yeah,
it's not pleasant.
Not fun.
I quit. I was like, I can't do these drugs.
There was a moment in like 2000, I think it was, where he was getting paid almost $1 million a show on Friends.
Yep.
So he was part of the #1 TV show, making a ton of money.
Yep.
And then he was the star of, was it The Whole 9 Yards or Fools Rush In? One of the two big movies that he was in that year. #1 box office, #1 TV show. The only other person in history to have that at the same time was Michael J. Fox in the 80s. And he said, and I was alone in a dark room, and the only people I was communicating with when I wasn't doing like press media and working were my drug dealers and other people that he shouldn't have been dealing with.
How did he live?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to tune in. Go watch on demand to find out.
Yeah, go watch it.
That's remarkable.
Diane Sawyer and Matthew Perry. And go to bed at 8:15. Be old.
Now, there's nothing wrong with going to bed at 8:15. Zero.
Especially when it's dark out, It's like dark at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Just go to bed.
I think I watched the conclusion of the Wild Detroit game on Saturday. It got done here like at, Dex, 8:45 or so.
Yeah.
Said, Dawn, I'm going to bed.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. No, it's a sandwich. No, it's a hoagie. Ooh, yeah. All right. That is a wrap on Mackie and Judd here today. Please click subscribe on the SKOR North YouTube channel and check out skornorth.com/shop for some Purple Daily swag if you're into that sort of thing. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Ooh, yeah.